Welcome back for my third video about my Nikon Z9. I want to thank everyone for all of the great feedback I've received so far. Please continue to leave questions, anything that I can help figure out in the comments below, as well as I appreciate the answers to my questions. There is so much to learn about this camera that I'm not quite sure we can all do it alone. So I specifically appreciate any feedback from you, and I'll try anything in my shooting just to try and figure something new out. It's kind of, we're all creatively curious, right? Something from my last video I'll hit on here: the difference between the RAWs and the JPEGs. Photographers for you asked me to do a little homework, which I certainly don't mind. But let me give you a little backstory. My process is primarily to shoot RAW and JPEGs, but the JPEGs are pretty much for transferring over to a phone, mobile device, at a live event for a couple of quick edits just to get something out on social, because everyone lives in the world of immediate gratification, and bring the RAW back and edit in Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom. So I've not taken a good look at the difference between the files yet. I will. I'll try and make a comparison video for you and show you, kind of side by side. But because most of what I photograph are live events with varying lights and a lot of different design elements, a lot of motion, the ability to have more control over the file in RAW is where I go to for all of my final edits, and then into JPEG. Also, just wanted to bring up, I wasn't sure in the unboxing what these clips were for. Now, keep in mind, I shoot much more still photos than I shoot video on my Nikon. I realize that Nikon built this for also, video production, the Z9, but I've not even gone down that road yet. I probably will. If you look at my channel, there are some videos that I shoot. I use a lot of GoPro cameras for shooting, so I've not gotten into that aspect of the camera yet, but these clips are for holding onto your cables. If you attach an HDMI or another type of cable to the camera body, that's what these are for. I just forgot about it, and I wanted to get back to that. One thing that I'm kind of working my way through that's different for me, and will probably be new and different for most people, is the shutter, or should I say lack thereof. For years I've been shooting a DSLR, before that an SLR, and I knew when I was taking a photo. Click, 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 right? One thing I noticed is without that physical feeling of knowing that the shutter's opened and closed, and beeping of the camera to indicate that, along with the brackets inside the viewfinder, which quite honestly I found almost a little annoying, I've got to figure out how to best get used to that. It's really hard when you're shooting, let's say, a live performance. I have earplugs in to save my hearing, which everyone should do. Use those if you're in a loud environment. So I can't necessarily hear the beeps, and the camera doesn't vibrate. So overshooting is going to be probably an issue. Granted, we're not using film, but I'd like people's feedback on what you think about a lack of shutter. A lack of that feeling you've had, the traditional feeling of I'm looking through my viewfinder and I can feel the camera, I'm at one with the camera. Because I really got a little lost in that. I was using continuous shutter, and I was getting a lot more frames than I had thought I would while I was shooting, with a really light touch using back button focus. So I'm interested in people's experience on that. I know it's something I'm going to have to get used to. It's just the way of the camera, but I'm not sure that I like that yet. So I'm going to be working on that. But I'd certainly like your feedback down below. Let me know your thoughts on how you feel about keeping track of your frames. Do you pay attention to the numbers in the viewfinder, or do you get lost in what's in the frame? I tend to lose myself in the images and not so much worry about the frame the lines around the frame telling me that I've taken an image. So I'd be really interested in what you have to say about that. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate anyone who shares these videos. Send your questions. I'll look at anything. If I can't figure it out, I'll let you know. but I'm not one of those, high gloss photographers who gets the camera early. I'm just some guy who's gotten his hands on a Z9, and I'm sharing my thoughts and feelings about the camera along the way. It's really exciting. This is a totally different path for me. This is my first mirrorless camera, so I thought I'd bring you along for the journey. So that's it. Please subscribe, leave your comments, and I'll look forward to the next video.